Hey, everyone. Ever imagine a world where your Instagram feed, it just pops up right in front of your eyes? No phone needed.
Wild.
That's the future Zuckerberg's building, and we're taking you behind the scenes.
Yeah, we're diving deep into Meta's super secret AR glasses project Orion,
We're talking about actual firsthand experience with a prototype here.
courtesy of Alex Heath from The Verge.
He got to try Orion, talk to Zuckerberg directly about the tech, the timeline, the potential impact, all of it.
It's really fascinating stuff.
You're going to be blown away by how long this project has been in the works, by the way.
Like how long?
A decade. A decade of research, billions of dollars invested.
Wow. Zuckerberg's been playing the long game with this one.
What I find fascinating is that back 2012, Zuckerberg actually thought holograms would be mainstream before powerful AI in glasses.
Really? Talk about a plot twist. That's amazing. Like, imagine back then, the world was still getting used to touch screens, and he's already thinking about wearing devices on our faces.
Right.
He was right about the platform shift, though, but the tech enabling it is totally different from what he initially pictured.
Makes you think, what seemingly impossible tech are we on the verge of today?
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it like that.
Now, Alex got to demo Orion with Zuckerberg, and his impressions are really insightful. But here's the thing. You won't be seeing Orion in stores anytime soon.
Yeah, no kidding. Zuckerberg's surprisingly upfront about the reasons behind the delay.
What was he saying?
The current version is, while it's bulky, it's crazy expensive, and the resolution still needs some work. Seems like he's, learned from some past mistakes. He'd rather get the tech right than rush a half-baked product out,
Okay, that makes sense. It's almost like he's playing a strategic game of chess here.
instead of just chasing the latest tech trend.
Yeah. He's thinking long-term, envisioning a future where AR glasses are as essential as smartphones are today.
He might be onto something. Think about how quickly smartphones went from like a novelty to, well, basically an absolute necessity. Now imagine those capabilities seamlessly integrated into our lives through glasses.
Wow, that's the future Zuckerberg's betting on. The line between the physical and digital worlds, it's just blurred.
It's exciting and maybe a little scary at the same time.
For sure. And get this, he even hints that version 2 of Orion is already being developed, and that's the one that we might actually get our hands on.
Wow. Okay, so they're already working on the next one.
But here's the real strategy. Meta isn't putting all its eggs in the Orion basket.
Oh, right. What about those Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses?
Exactly.
Those are selling pretty well, right?
They are, and they represent the other half of Meta's master plan.
So it's like a two-pronged approach.
Exactly. You've got the high-end Orion pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and then you've got the more accessible Ray-Ban glasses.
Easing people into this idea of wearing smart devices on their faces.
Right, and this is where the partnership with EssilorLuxottica, the makers of Ray-Ban, this is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Zuckerberg sees them as key players in bringing AR glasses to the masses. He even compares their potential impact to what Samsung did for South Korea's smartphone industry.
Wow, so Italy, the next Silicon Valley, but for augmented reality, that's a thought.
Right. What I find so intriguing about this isn't just about building a product. This is about creating an entirely new industry. An industry with the potential to create so many jobs, drive innovation, reshape the technological landscape as we know it.
It's a bold vision, but is the world ready for a future where reality is viewed through Zuckerberg's lens?
That's the big question, isn't it? What happens when you add AI to the mix?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
That's the question.
And it's not just about the glasses, right? It's about the AI, how it's like woven into everything.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg dropped this bomb in the interview. Meta's experimenting with inserting AI-generated content directly into user feeds.
Whoa. I was floored when I read that.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine scrolling through your feed, right?
Right.
And between your friend's vacation pics and your aunt's cat memes,
Yeah.
there's a post. But it's generated by AI, tailored to your interests.
It's wild.
Is it creepy? Is it cool? I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Right. It's so different from how we've always thought about social media. But Zuckerberg's argument, and it's an interesting one, is that this personalized AI content, it isn't just about serving you ads.
Okay.
It's about, starting conversations, helping you discover new things you might find interesting.
So instead of our feeds being this public broadcast,
Right.
they become more like, personalized discovery engines,
Exactly.
leading us to more private conversations or smaller group chats.
Yes, exactly. But it does make you wonder, right? Like, will this actually lead to more meaningful connections?
Yeah.
Or will it just further fragment our attention spans as we're, just bombarded with even more content? And then there's the ethics of it all, right?
Yeah.
An algorithm deciding what we see and what we don't see.
Right.
It's a bit
It's a slippery slope.
it is a slippery slope.
Mm.
Zuckerberg seems to believe AI can be a force for good.
Yeah.
But is it naive to think it won't come with unintended consequences?
Right.
We've seen that happen with pretty much every other technology.
It's true. And this is where Zuckerberg's vision for AI, it goes way beyond social media.
Oh, yeah.
He predicts that every business will have its own AI,
Wow. Okay.
like a personalized digital assistant to interact with customers, answer questions, even create custom content.
So like a 24/7 team of virtual representatives, each one tailored to you.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is.
But it makes you think,
It does. It does.
Let's shift gears for a second and talk about something that's been, I don't know, dogging Zuckerberg for years. Politics.
Yeah.
Meta has been at the center of so much controversy surrounding misinformation.
Right. Election interference, all of that.
The toxicity of online political discourse in general.
It's a minefield.
And what's interesting here is how Zuckerberg seems to be grappling with Meta's role in all of it.
So how is he addressing that?
He's trying to distance himself and the company from the political firestorms of the past few years.
Right.
He talks about wanting Meta to be, nonpartisan.
Nonpartisan.
Which he even admits he might be a little naive in thinking that's truly possible.
Yeah. It's a tough line to walk.
It is.
On one hand, you have free speech,
Right.
open dialogue. And on the other hand, well, there's a real danger of misinformation and hate speech.
Yeah, you've got to find that balance somehow.
It's tricky.
It is. And it's not just about Meta's brand, it's about democracy itself, right?
Right. Exactly.
Zuckerberg acknowledges the damage that's been done.
The erosion of trust, the polarization.
It's a lot. He even goes so far as to call allowing Meta to become so entangled in political battles a 20-year mistake,
Wow.
which he's still trying to correct.
So what's he doing?
He's pushing for a more hands-off approach.
Less political content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Downranking it in user feeds, emphasizing personal connections over political debates.
Okay, so less politics, more puppies and babies.
Exactly. It's a gamble for sure.
It is.
Will it be enough to win back the trust of users and regulators?
Only time will tell.
It's like he's, I don't know, trying to steer this massive ship away from a hurricane, but, the internet's got other plans.
And lurking right beneath the surface is another, massive issue.
Yeah.
One that Zuckerberg kind of tiptoes around, can't quite avoid it.
The impact on mental health.
That's the one. Especially for, younger users.
It is hard to ignore the research. Yeah, the link between social media and anxiety, depression, body image, all of that.
Right. And Zuckerberg, he acknowledges Meta's got a role to play in making things safer, especially for kids. But he kind of stops short of accepting any direct connection between social media use and, these negative mental health things we're talking about. He even suggests that always being glued to our phones, the notifications, that pressure to look perfect online.
Right.
That might be even worse than the platforms themselves.
It's a chicken or the egg thing, isn't it? Is it the tech or is it us?
A billion-dollar question right there. And I don't think there are any easy answers.
Yeah.
But Zuckerberg does highlight some things Meta's doing. Stricter age verification, for one, giving parents more control over their kids' accounts, promoting those digital well-being tools.
Right.
But are these measures actually effective, or are they just a Band-Aid?
Right.
It's a huge societal issue.
It really is. And speaking of big issues, we got to talk about the regulators.
Oh, yeah. The government's knocking.
Meta is facing so much scrutiny, especially from Europe. I mean, new AI regulations, they're popping up faster than TikTok trends at this point.
It's true. And this is where you see Zuckerberg, the savvy CEO side,
Yeah.
knows how to play the game. And he's openly critical of what he sees as, overreach,
Yeah.
contradictory regulations. He mentions GDPR specifically.
It's a good point, though.
It is. If you're a global company, how do you keep up with all these different rules?
It'd be impossible.
Right. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded.
Exactly.
And he argues that this lack of consistency, it just stifles innovation.
Yeah.
And gives an unfair advantage to companies in countries with less strict rules.
That's true. But at the heart of all of this is a big question, right?
Yeah.
Who owns the data? Like all the data that's being used to train these AI models.
That is the question. Is it the people who generated it, the
Right.
companies that have it, the developers?
It's like this digital gold rush.
It is.
Everyone's scrambling to stake their claim. And Zuckerberg, he seems to think the potential benefits of AI, like the personalized stuff, the efficiency,
Right.
that it outweighs any individual claims to data ownership.
It's a tough one.
It is. It is. And, this is a debate that's just going to get bigger as AI gets more powerful, and it's everywhere.
Everywhere. And that brings us back to the AR glasses, right?
Yeah.
Zuckerberg, he paints this picture of the future. And it's like reality is half physical, half digital.
Wow.
This world where the two just blend seamlessly.
It's exciting, but kind of creepy too.
It is a little bit. Like, what happens to our sense of self? How we see the world when it's all filtered through this digital lens, and who controls the lens, right?
Exactly.
It's like we're living in a sci-fi novel.
We are.
And we're all just like figuring out the plot as we go. But one thing's for sure.
What's that?
The decisions we make today about regulations, about data privacy, about like the ethics of all this tech,
Right.
that's going to shape the future.
It's a lot to process.
It is.
And I keep coming back to this one question. Zuckerberg asked it at the end of the interview, almost like an afterthought. He says, what could possibly go wrong?
Ooh. Yeah. It's a good one to end on, right?
It is.
Like a reminder, with great power comes great responsibility, right?
It really does feel that way.
It does. The future is unwritten, and it's really up to us. What role do we want technology to play in our lives?
What kind of world do we want to build? It's a big question.
Big questions.
Well, on that note, keep those glasses polished, everyone, and maybe keep a critical eye on what's being reflected back at you. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.